Okay, so we can talk about the U.S. United States, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, after basic training in radio school, I got sent to Germany, and I got on a relatively new troop carrier. It's called the General B. Rose, and we all got on the boat and got our little hammocks to sleep in and started across the ocean. And we were way out, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and we could see something way on the horizon that we didn't know what it was, but pretty soon it passed it. It was about a half a mile away, and it didn't real, but it went by us, and it was the U.S. United States, a new ship. Boy, it could really go fast. So it went on ahead, went into Ireland, took off all its passengers and put on new ones, and turned around and came back, and we were still bouncing along out in the ocean. They come and went. So we were wishing we could be on that, but we got home, or got to Germany, and for some reason I have no idea, but I was picked to stand at the bow of the ship with my uniform on and a rifle and helmet. I don't know why but that's what all the troop ships had. Just one guy stand. So I stood there for about an hour, and we got come into port up in northern Germany. And I looked down, and I saw this fancy little car. It's called a Porsche. Then I started seeing these little bitty lawnmower cars, the Volkswagens, and those that we had in our country. We made them make bigger engines for us, but they had real small engines, and you were always shifting them because I think they were smaller than the lawnmower. But yeah, that was my first. Oh, and then we got on the train, and some salespeople were running along selling stuff, cognac and stuff. Well, somebody bought cognac, but I bought some German chocolate bars, kind of. So we shared them, and they shared the cognac, and I couldn't drink that. I couldn't drink cognac. And then we the rest of it was waiting to get down at our place in Bavaria, where I went out on the truck and got lost.
So where did the duck hunting fit in?
We went on another maneuver, and me being in the radio business, when you put you set up your line, and the guns are behind you. They're 8-inch howitzers, and we have to figure out where they're going to shoot. So they did all that, and then what I would do is I would take a truck and drive out somewhere in the woods and hide the truck in the woods and make sure my antennas weren't in the trees. Then when the officers in the FDC tent would send a message, it would go out to my truck and then go out in the air. That kept them safe, and I was a guinea pig. I didn't care because it was nice going out there. One day we were sitting out there, and a big goat came by, and a bunch of sheep, and a little man pushing, they were going up the mountain to get grass in the summer, and there was a little boy with them, and we said we'd give him a little money if he went down to the guest house down there and brought us a bottle of German beer because we were going to get our supper truck would be coming up soon. So he did that, and that was such a picturesque, that's what I met when I was walking with Molly up your trail, up your driveway you didn't use, and it was just like Switzerland then, or Bavaria, And I thought about that. Little Molly was just like that little girl in that story. And so anyhow, going back to the guns, I had an opportunity we have what you call BC scopes. It's a powerful glass, spotter on a tripod, so you can see where the bursts go when they come over. You call for a burst for a gun,
Mm-hmm.
and you hear it going, oh, and I'm looking like this, on this big telescope thing or binoculars, and I heard a boom. I was aiming at a little lake, and it had an island about this big, and a sign in it, just a sign, a white sign stuck in it. Okay, here comes a round. Boom! I can't see any, and over here I shot probably 200, 300 ducks. They had an airburst, they just blew up about 10, 20 feet in the air.
Mm.
And those poor ducks were, and you couldn't go get them because you don't know when the next round's coming in.
Right.
Yeah. So that was my. Anytime anybody asked me if I want to go duck hunting, I said I got all the ducks I could ever want.
So when did you have your foot broken? Because you had.
Oh, that was in basic. I was in my 11th week of basic training when we were moving a 105. That's a relatively small canyon, but they have. They haul them with it like a trailer, so they haul them backwards. But that trailer leg, when it's in the field, we would spread it out, and they had big discs to go into the ground. So when they kicked, they wouldn't go anywhere. Well, we were moving this one in, and about 6, 7 of us were just tugging on one, and everybody dropped it, and it fell in my metatarsals, broke them all. And I had to walk back. I had a boot on, and I started in the first battery, headquarters battery, and then A battery, B battery, C battery, and the guys that couldn't march good, a lot of people that weren't good. And I would loosen my boot a little, and it would fill it right up. And I got to the barracks, and they all went to bed, and I was hurting. And I just sat at the edge of bed and smoking cigarettes all night. Poor guy slipped above me. He didn't say anything, but I just hurt so bad. So I went back to in the morning, we all fell out, and I'm standing there, and I told, he was another trainee, but he'd been chosen to be kind of a leader. So I says, I really hurt my foot. I can't do things. And he says, I'll fall out after it's police call. Police call is when you go up there and down and get all the cigarette butts and tear them pieces, and so that there's nothing. You're that far apart, and you pick up everything. That keeps your place. And they were going to have breakfast, and I didn't want breakfast. He says, just go up, and the dispensary was right across the street, and one company more, so pretty close. So I got in there, and I didn't have crutches or nothing, but I said, I broke my foot last night, and the guy said, oh, you better see the doctor. So he got this one guy in the clinic. Oh, yeah, we better. So they put me on, they just put me on that's another time. They got an ambulance up there and took me in. And then I spent 8, 9 weeks. I remember it was Christmas time. I couldn't come home because I had a foot in a cast, And I said, I could get along fine. No, you just can't go. That foot isn't yours anymore. It's the United States Army's foot. So that's the way they put it. And so finally, it got enough better so I could go to radio school. So we came back out of basic training, 11 weeks. I'm supposed to have 16. But the company all went to Korea. Mm-hmm. And I'm in radio school over here, and I had a hard time there because it's, you know, code.
Mm-hmm.
Did it real fast, and I could get it, but not that fast, and so I didn't make that, and so I went to for a few weeks. I just uh, guarded prisoners as they come out. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, during basic training, there was a guy named Beaver, and he looked just like Sonny Liston. You know, when I first saw Sonny Liston, I thought on the TV, I thought it was him. Anyway, he he wanted to eat first. You know, he was no dang good, but he came along and everybody yelled at me, Van, don't let him in the door. We got a little stairway with a banister, and then you go in the door. So I put my arm out and I wouldn't let him through. Well, he broke through, and I was a wrestler in school, so I just grabbed him in the crotch and around the neck, and I tipped him over and dropped him off the end. But I fell too.
Oh.
And he was laying down, and I got him right in the gut with my helmet on. You know, I could have broke my neck, but I didn't. And I got up, and he didn't. He's just winded, you know. And I came in, and I got my breakfast and went and sat down, got ready to eat, and you have to climb over the bench, you know, so it's not like being in a chair. And he came in, and he just went wham, and he hit me so hard I didn't know what I was doing. And the guys took me back to the barracks. I was like this. And it was a Saturday, so we were eating noon lunch, and then we could go whatever we wanted to, go to town or what. So several of them just stayed with me. They didn't know what was going to happen to Beaver. Well, Beaver, they told him, you're under house arrest, to just go back to your barracks and stay there. Well, he wouldn't do that. And a young lieutenant who's full of himself because he's a lieutenant, you know, he started telling him that what he had to do. Well, he beat that lieutenant officer pretty bad. So he was put in prison down there. And later, when I was guarding prisoners, I saw him coming out. And I was just ready to tell my corporal or whoever he was, I can't do him because I've had experience with him, and he knocked me out once. But I didn't have to tell him anything. They turned him and he put him in this hole. Now it's summertime in Arkansas. They put him in this little hole with some bars up here to look out. And he had to stay there all day, every day. It was a criminal thing they did to him. But that's what they did to the real bad guys. And well, what happened, I forgot, I got to go back. Before he did that, he killed another guy with a bed slats or a metal.
Oh.
Yeah, he killed a guy in prison. And then that's when they got real tough with him. And I never knew where he went. But when I saw Sonny Liston on TV that time, I thought, oh my God, that's him. And it wasn't.